Dear listeners, today we will be talking about how can we register a nutraceutical product in the Drug Regulatory Authority of Pakistan. How can we apply for that registration and what are the parameters which should be considered for the registration of nutraceutical product. We will divide the whole session in two parts. In part 1, we will discuss the law perspective which must be accounted and which must be considered before application proceeding. So let's start for the first part. After that, we will discuss the practical application and practical proceeding, that how we fill the individual blank for the proceeding of the registration of nutraceutical product and how they evaluate and what are the parameters which should be considered before application proceeding, which help us to register our product easily. Let open the first session of the whole topic. So first of all, we will open the search engine, that is Google. I put here google.com. First of all, we search for the rules which are helpful for the registration of nutraceutical product, and 2014 alternative medicine PDF. Yeah, if we do not write PDF, then it doesn't make that much issue. So we just got here SRO 412 2014 alternative medicine PDF. Based on this SRO, we can proceed our application and we can proceed any of the matter related to the nutraceutical product. So we just first of all open this. So this is the SRO. This SRO is about what? So first of all, to trace that what this SRO deals, we first of all see for the title, that is short title and commencement. The title of this SRO is what is about. These rules may be called the Alternative Medicine and Health Product Enlistment Rules 2014. So the whole legal story behind the nutraceutical product registration lies inside this SRO. It is a long document. You can study individual points and individual sentence, but shortly we will pick our own topic. So inside this SRO, the most important thing which we must need would be what? So first of all, we just download this. So this SRO comes here. Okay. This SRO comes here and we just move to the top. The most important thing in this SRO regarded with the registration of pharmaceutical product are the following. First of all, we should search about what are the nutraceutical products and then we will proceed further. So nutraceutical, here we just search nutraceuticals. Okay, this comes the definition of the nutraceuticals. Here, the nutraceutical products are defined as these are the food supplements or dietary supplements or health supplement or nutraceuticals. All are the names of the nutraceutical. We can call it food supplement, we can call it dietary supplement, we can call it health supplement or nutraceuticals. What does it mean by the nutraceuticals? It means the product containing vitamins, provitamins, multivitamins. These are the vitamin categories. Any vitamin categories can be formulated in the form of nutraceuticals, can be prepared in the dosage form of nutraceuticals. Minerals, including mineral salt or naturally occurring minerals. Any type of minerals can be included in the nutraceutical products. Metals can be included in the nutraceutical. A lipid can be included in the nutraceuticals. Lipid, there are five categories of lipids, and here included is fatty acid, phospholipid, lipoproteins, amino acids like proteins. These can also be formulated in the form of nutraceuticals. Fatty acid, carbohydrates, mucopolysaccharides. These can be formulated in the form of nutraceuticals. Next, we search for the application forms and application process which is adopted for the registration of pharmaceutical, which is adopted for the registration of nutraceutical product. So we search that. Here we search for application of nutraceutical. Okay. By searching this, we got this point. The rule number 3. Rule number 3 states that application for enlistment shall be made to the authority addressed to the Director of Division of the Health and OTC, that is non-drug, in the following manner. So there are two statements. To whom I shall applicate, Director of Division of Health and OTC. In the next part, when I will type my covering letter for application, I will request that application. In the next part, when I will type a covering letter, I will state my application to Director of Division of Health and OTC. Okay, so this is the main point, and we directly target our main point. So there is a form, that is form 3. On this form, we proceed our application for registration of nutraceutical product. Okay, this is the form which deals what type of product. These are mentioned here. Enlistment of locally manufactured product for general health claim, traditional use claim, and nutritional claims. Our main target was this, that is, we are applicating for new registration for registration of nutraceutical product. Now here is next point, that this form is located where and from where I can pick this form as prescribed in the schedule A. Okay, this was main point. The next point is application for contract manufacturing. Okay, we do not deal this point at this time. So next point is fee shall be paid. There must be a fee which we shall pay before the application proceeding, and the fee shall be deposited in the head of account of authority at the designated bank, and original receipt of the deposit of money shall be attached with the application. At the end of the Form 3 preparation, we generate a bank challan, and that challan is generated inside the DRAPE website portal, and that is automatically generated. Next is application evaluation. So application evaluation is of most important thing to be considered. Why? Because if these parameters are considered, it is very easy to register our nutraceutical product. Okay, so what are the points? The points are these. This application goes to the division of HOTC for the conformance of evaluation criteria. Okay, when we should be clear of the point that our application goes to the division of HOTC. And what does they do with our application? They check the criteria for acceptance of the application. Okay, and next, application shall be required to submit document with evidence of documentary proof of a quality, safety, efficacy, and effectiveness. These parameters must be ensured for the registration of nutraceuticals. Okay, this is the main primary, this is the main criteria which are evaluated, which are checked by the evaluator, and after that they allow for the manufacturing, and they allow and they award us the registration certificate. Okay. Next, authority may verify content of information provided in the application dossier through panel of inspector. This is the one of the most important point. When we apply for the registration of nutraceutical product, it does not mean they has no authority to check our manufacturing facility and what we provided to the regulatory authority. They can inspect us, they can check the process, they can check the testing facility, they can check each and every parameters, and they can inspect our manufacturing facility in order to ensure the parameter these that are quality, safety, efficacy. The next point is application shall be required to submit a declaration on notarized stamp paper that the content of the application are correct. Next, there is a notarized stamp paper which is submitted along with the application. And what is the statement written on that notarized stamp paper? The statement written on that notarized stamp paper and the declaration which is demanded by the regulatory authority is that the content of the application which we proceeded are correct or not. That must be correct, and we should undertake that before the registration. Okay. Now, when our application is reached to the regulatory authority, there is a criteria which should be okay before they give us the registration. Okay, what is that criteria? The criteria is that the application shall meet the following criteria. This criteria must be okay, and this criteria must be in our mind so that we can expect the award of registration certificate. Okay, what is that criteria? Let's see one by one. Application shall be complete. This is the number one option. Okay, all the requirements which are to be provided to the regulatory authority, they should be complete. If there is deficiency of one document, then we cannot expect the award of registration certificate. Okay, it means that, for example, we are not giving them the specification of raw material, for example, so it is a deficiency. If we are not giving them, for example, an undertaking, this is a deficiency. Next, if we are not giving them the brand name, this is a deficiency. And if we not submit the challan, this is the deficiency. It means that the application should be complete in all perspective. Okay, and meet all the criteria prescribed. Okay, application shall possess manufacturing and quality control facility. So there should be a facility for manufacturing, that is, there should be there should be a proper place, there should be proper building, there should be proper system for control environment, there should be a proper machinery. So all the manufacturing facility must be ensured. Okay, and there must be a quality control department for the testing of the raw material and for the testing of that product. Okay. Rule number C is that application shall submit necessary evidence to support application for manufacturing unit. So this is about the application for manufacturing unit. We do not deal this point now. Next is application shall conform to the principle of quality assurance for contract manufacturing. We do not deal this point at this time. Okay. Application containing false, incorrect, or misleading information shall be liable to rejection. This is important point. For the avoidance of wrong information, we undertake here at this point at the rule number 4, sub rule number 4. Okay, so if we give them the wrong information, they have the right to reject our application. Next is F point. The formulation of applied product shall not contain prohibited substance or ingredient that have been declared dangerous or injurious to health. There are a lot of chemicals which are okay at one time, and when it comes in the research process and there is evidence that the chemical or the raw material is injurious to health, so the regulatory authority strictly avoid and the regulatory authorities strictly prohibit this chemical. So if there is chemical which is prohibited by the regulatory authority, we cannot use that chemical in our product. Okay, so at this point must be ensured. Next is G point. The formulation is a whole or containing any of the ingredients that have been withdrawn due to safety concerns shall be liable to rejection. Okay, if there is containing some of the chemical which is not okay. So the next point is G point. The formulation is a whole or containing any of its ingredient that have been withdrawn due to safety concerns shall be liable to rejection. Okay, if there is some ingredient in the formulation or the whole formulation is such that that the safety measure is not okay, so it can be rejected. So the H point is that the application of new formulation or new ingredient shall submit safety, efficacy and quality data as per recognized evidence standard. This point means that all the chemicals that are raw materials and the product, the whole testing which are performed on the raw material and the whole testing is which are performed on the product, that must be given to the regulatory authority so that they are ensured about the safety, efficacy and quality of that product. The point I is also about to proving the safety, quality and efficacy of the product. Okay, so the point number J, that is import document, shall be attested by the regulatory authority of the country of origin. If for example we are importing some product or we are importing some chemical, that is around about more of the chemicals are imported. So if there is an import chemical, and we should have evidence about that import, and we should have evidence about the approval of that chemical from the regulatory authority. Okay, now these are some of the most important points which should be considered before the application proceeding. Here we Here we were discussing about the form 3. Now let's move to the form 3 where it is located. We discussed that the form 3 is lying in schedule A. Now let's move to the schedule A. That is schedule A, form number 1 and form number 2, that is, and form number 3. This is our main target. We will This is form 3. We will proceed our application on this form. Okay.